Figures of speech. A figure of speech is a deviation from the ordinary use of word with a view to increasing their effect. Thus, we can say, there are 6 pillars to the veranda of this house. Here, the word pillars is used in its ordinary or literal sense. Again, we can say that that man is a pillar of the state. So again, here, pillar is used in a figurative or non-literal sense and signifies support. So the first figure of speech we are going to discuss today is simile. Talking about simile, a simile consists in giving formal expression to the likeness said to exist between the two different object or event. The formality peculiar to a simile consists in using some word or words from drawing attention to the likeness. The words commonly used for its purpose are as, so, and like. For example, errors like straw upon the surface flow. Or the second example, my face is as a book. My face is as a book where a man may read strange matters. So as a book, here you are making a comparison between a face and a book. Now coming to the next figure of speech, that is metaphor. Metaphor is an informal or implied simile. For example, if I say noun, so our eldest son is the star of the family. Our eldest son is the star of the family, that means the brightest member. So here the star is again the comparison, but the indirect comparison. If I say that our eldest son is like the star, then that is a simile because we are making a direct comparison, and if we make an indirect comparison, in that case that is a metaphor. Let me give you more examples of metaphor. The second is he is the vulture of the province. Vulture of the province means the plunderer. Similarly, now next coming to the next figure of speech, that is fable, parable, and allegory. Okay. So these are the same basically. An allegory is a series of metaphor or symbols continued throughout a story so as to represent or describe one series of fact by another series that is analogous to it in its main feature. In most cases, the object of such a story is to exemplify and enforce some moral truth. A parable is a similar story, differing from an allegory in that its detail have no symbolic significance. So, we can say that the parable of the good Samaritan was intended to give an answer to the question, who is my neighbor? Now, the parable of the ewe lamb, and which Nathan the prophet communicated to King David, was intended to bring the king to a sense of his guilt by relating to him a parallel case. The fable and stories of a classical literature in which birds and beasts are made to think, speak, and act like men all teach some moral that is known as a fable. And similarly, parable are the stories in which we have the human character and conveys the moral story to involve is a parable. Next figure of speech is personification. By this figure, we ascribe intelligence and personality to inanimate things. For example, Death lays his icy hand on King. So Death lays his icy hand on King. Do Death has a hand? Absolutely, the answer is no. So Death lays a hand, that means we are bringing a life to the word death. So this is known as personification. Other example, that is, Failstein's frowned not on his humble birth and melancholy marked him for her own. Similarly, science and melancholy are the non-living thing, are the expressions. And so here we are bringing a life to it, so personification. The next figure of speech is metonymy. Metonymy. So metonymy or the substitution of the thing named for the thing meant. The prefix meta means substitution. So you substituted. For example, he succeeded to the crown. To he succeeded to the crown, that means he succeeded to the monarchy, to be a king. So here the word crown tells us that he has achieved the monarchy. Similarly, if I say leather, leather pays better than earning. So here leather is a shoemaking. Next figure of speech is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. The epithet or qualifying adjective is sometimes transferred from a person to a thing. For example, the plowman homeward plods his weary band. Now, next example if I give, he lays all night on his sleepless pillow. He lays all night on his sleepless pillow. Actually, the person, the boy who laid on the bed was sleepless, and here it happens in that sleepless pillow. So the quality transfer epithet. Epithet means equality. So the quality was sleepless and which has been transferred to the pillow. But actually that quality belongs to the boy. Next figure of speech is climax. This is a Greek word signifying a ladder. By the figure so called, the sense rise by successive step to what is more and more important and impressive. For example, I came, I saw, I conquered. So I came. Here it means that we are moving forward for the sense of rise. We have a sense of rise that what next is going to happen, and then we come to know that he saw and then he conquered. Similarly, next example: I laugh, I run, I leap, I sing, I dance for joy. So we have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, and we have prostrated ourselves at the foot of the throne. Is one of the examples of climax. One more is from the most famous drama of William Shakespeare, that is Julius Caesar. It is given in the book that as Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him, but as he was ambitious, I slew him. This is again a climax. Coming to the next figure of speech, that is anticlimax, and the other name of anticlimax is bathos. So this is the opposite to climax and signifies a ludicrous descent from the higher to the lower. For example, he lost his wife, his daughter, his son, and his watch. So definitely this is the anticlimax because it is the opposite of climax and getting from higher to the lower. Next example here, thou great Anna, whom three realms obey, dost sometimes counsel take and sometimes tea. This is again an example of anticlimax. Coming to the next figure of speech, that is interrogation. Interrogation. This is a rhetorical mode of affirming or denying something more strongly and emphatically than could be done in ordinary language. For example, do men gather grapes or thorn or fig or thistles? This is interrogation because here the speaker sometimes speaks more strongly and in a way that could not be done in a better language, in ordinary language. So next example is, who is here so base that would be a bondman? Who is here so rude that would be a Roman? Who is here so vile that will no love his country? Next figure of speech is hyperbole. By this figure, things are represented as greater or less, better or worse than they really are. Such language is not meant to be taken literally. For example, tons of money, 1,000 thanks, 1,001 thing. But the correct example of hyperbole is that is to exaggerate a sentence. For example, the cuckoo bird break the silence of the sea, or all the perfume of Arabia will not sweeten his little hand. I repeat, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand is again a hyperbole. That means to exaggerate or sometimes lower down the quality of that thing. Now, second is they were swifter than eagle and stronger than lion. Next figure of speech we'll discuss is Exclamation. Exclamation are the strong expression of feeling. For example, what a piece of work is man, or how sweet the moonlight sleeps upon this bank. So it is a strong expression of your feeling is known as